Our summer cruise have come to an end, and in last week's episode we took a look back on all of the years we've been cruising and answered our patrons' questions.
We started seeing our house so we could save more money that way. We're back in our home port here in Malmö, and it feels great to be back. And we've had such a great summer.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic summer, and we also had a chance to try out our new boat, which is great to be able to do that close to our home port. And yeah, there are some things on the boat that we have discovered that we want to improve. So before we head south, we have some major boat works that we're going to do now. The weather is really nice today, late summer weather, mid-September really. So today it's promised 25 degrees Celsius. So I thought it was a good day to do some work on the boat. So today I'm going to replace these blocks here for the main sheet system. These are really old and worn. They're from '88, so it's time to replace them. You can see here this one that they're cracked and yeah, not in very good shape. And these Lumar blocks are what you call plain bearing blocks, and we're going to replace them with this Rutgerson roller bearing blocks instead, so we will have less friction in the whole system.
So why are these blocks so important? Well, these blocks are the ones holding the boom in place. And if one of them would break, someone could easily get deadly injured or thrown overboard if hit by the boom. The sun is the enemy for blocks made of plastic material. The UV light makes the material brittle over the years. But the body of the new ones are made of aluminium, which we hope will prolong their lifespan.
Yeah, that looks a lot better. And of course there will be a lot less friction in this whole system when we go out sailing. Really nice. Hey!
This is our new arch that we're going to build. We're going to put it in the back of the boat and add a lot of solar watts up there. We will be in total 800 watts on 2 solar panels, because we realized, or we knew already, that we didn't have enough solar panels on the boat. On the old boat we had 300 watts. Here now it's like 160, and even with 300 it wasn't enough. You know, we use the computers a lot, and we have to charge them often, and the chargers takes a lot of electricity. So now we have come to the term that it's the best thing to build an arch, and we can add some other nice features on the arch too that will be very useful for us. So Johan has made this drawing in this program called SketchUp. It's a free online 3D program. Some of the key features that we wanted to have in an arch was, number one, most importantly, it had to look good. Because this has been like the thing why we have waited this out for a long time, because we knew it's a big project and to make it look good is very hard. So it has to be sturdy, but not like a square like that in a box. So that's why we have tried to come up with a way to do where it goes in a little bit more, where you can see here, to make it look like lighter or more like petite, or if you know what I mean. So that was number one feature, most importantly. Number 2, we wanted to have a crane for the outboard engine for the dinghy, so we could lift it up and down. Number 3 important feature was, of course, then to be able to have as much solar panels or wattage as possible on there. And we've made it slightly tilted, so the rainwater will go off. And then we will add some antennas. Oh, and another thing that I forgot to mention is that we will extend the lifelines to solid pipes, stainless pipes, so the same as we have like in the push pit. We'll go all the way up to the first pole or lifeline pole, mantogstötta. So it will be an integrated arch. So we'll have to remove the whole push pit, and they will take it to the welding shop and weld the whole thing together. We will use stainless pipe, 42 millimeters on the big ones, and then is it 32? And then 32 on the smaller ones. So this is a fun and big project. We've been taking a lot of measurements, a lot of thinking, and a lot of drawing. Johan has been doing this now like for many days. So it's exciting how it's gonna unfold.
While waiting for the first test mount of the arch, Johan dealt with some things on the boat that needed attention.
We've been having a small leak in this hydraulic panel for the vang and for the backstay tensioner. So I have to remove this panel because the leak is in the pump behind here. So we'll see if I can fix that. This is the back side of having a hydraulic system. When it starts to leak, it's no fun. So this is the hydraulic pump on this system. And somewhere around here there's a leak and it's dripping down here. Not much, but enough to be, enough to fix it. So I found the kit that we need for the hydraulic panel. Pretty expensive, $100 around. And I only need 2 of these for the panel. I localized the leak to the 2 piston seals, and it was a pretty straightforward fix. Replacing them was easy, but the hardest part was to put the pistons back into the cylinders without damaging the new seals. So we'll put the panel back together now, and we'll see if it will work later on. I couldn't test the hydraulic pump yet, since we decided to leave the hydraulic boom vang and the backstay tensioner for service, so they wouldn't start leaking as well. Yeah, down here we have another thing that needs attention now. It's the heater. It won't fire anymore. So I guess there's some problem with the glow plug, or it just needs a clean. So I'm going to take it out and have a look at it. So I have taken the heater apart, and I think I have found the problem. It's this seal, which seals between the firing chamber and the inlet for the air. And because of this, when this is broken, this seal, the exhausts can go the wrong direction. So I just need to find a seal like this, and then hopefully it should work again. So I have found the seals that we need for the heater. Pretty expensive, around $75, but we really need those. So, but it will be a couple of days before I can install the heater again. And it's a special seal because it must be able to take a lot of heat. After the new gasket and O-ring was in place, it was time to assemble the heater again. Even if there wasn't any problems with the glow plug, I decided to replace it anyway and keep the old one as a spare. Seems to be working alright. Has fired up now. So really great. Tomorrow the guys that are building our arch, they are coming to test mount it. So I'm going to remove everything from the push pit today. So we can test mount it tomorrow, and then they will take the push pit with them so they can integrate the push pit together with the arch.
I'm really excited to see what it will look like when it comes on the boat. We've seen some pictures on it that they sent to us, and yeah, crossing fingers that it will look good and that it will work out as we want it to, or as planned. Not the best toy.
It took me quite some time to remove all the gear and loosen the push pit from the boat. It was pretty cool to see my sketch coming to life. Everything looks according to the drawings. So we made some alterations. I think we'll lower it a bit, but other than that, it looks good.
We celebrated my birthday, and Johan surprised me with a night in a hotel. It was on the 21st floor, and the view over Malin was amazing. And the boat wasn't far away, since we could see the mast from the room.
Det var kul, va? Vem är det? Vem är det? So the biggest job we will do on the boat this fall is that we're going to replace the rig and the mast. So a major project ahead. And there's many reasons why we came to the conclusion that we need to replace all of this. But first off, the two furlegs that we have up front, they're old. They're from 1988, original, from when the boat was built. And there's no spare parts available for them anymore. And the one we have up front, we've been having some real issues with the whole summer. So it's time to replace those. The same goes for the standing rigging. The stays and the shrouds and the turnbuckles. We don't know the real age on those, and you should replace that every 10th year. And my bet is that it's closer to 20 years old now. So time to replace that as well. Another thing is that Malin has a real hard time reefing the boat because she's not tall enough, and it's a pretty heavy job to take a reef on this old mast. Also, the mainsail is 13 years old now, so in a few years it's time to replace that. So with all of these things, we came to the conclusion that now is a good time to really do the full update and replace the mast as well. The mast is 32 years old now, and they say that the lifespan of a mast normally is around 40 years. So I think it will be a good update and a good investment in a boat we really love. And it will make it easier for both me and Malin to sail the boat single-handedly, but most importantly, this will give us confidence in the mast. And that's really important when you're sailing offshore, that you really can trust your gear. And the mast, aside from the hull, is the most important piece of gear that you have on a sailboat. So I'm super excited for this. It's going to be a real process, this whole thing to change the mast. It's a big job, but I'm really excited for this.
The rigger Håkan, who we worked with earlier this year, is a Selden representative, and we will order the mast through him. In retrospect, we're quite glad we didn't spend our whole boat buying budget when buying round 2. Because of that, we can now do the updates we want and get her equipped for the high seas. Step 1 in the process is to take all the measurements.
Measuring up so we know the center of the mast, so we can position the shrouds, the top shrouds and the lower shrouds position compared to the mast, so we get the right measurement there.
So all the measurements originates from the center of the mast?
Yes.
Okay.
All the measurements together with the boat data are the foundation for the strength calculation of the new mast and rigging. So it's crucial that they are correct.
What we're doing now is just to find the exact position of all the chain plates on the boat.
The chain plates are the attachment points for the standing rigging. And as the saying goes, a chain isn't stronger than its weakest link. So it's important to check the conditions on these as well.
1580. And this deplacement.
Yeah.
This is the most important
Yes.
number.
On paper it's 14.5 tons or 14,500 kilos.
Yes.
But in reality, when we bought the boat, we had it in a crane and we got it weighed, and it was close to 18 tons with the tanks filled and all the stuff that the former owner had in it. So my guess is close to 17 tons.
Yes.
Maybe 16.5 or something with the boat itself.
But you have equipment yourself as
Yeah,
well.
so if you include full tanks and all our gear and stuff, I would say close to 18 tons.
Yes. Then we write 18 tons.
Yeah.
It's very important that we get the right weight, so we can make the right calculations for the dimensions of the stays and the mast. So it's not getting too weak.
And is this common that the production weight of a boat differs a lot from the actual weight?
Yes.
More
It's,
so on older
most weights are from the yard, where the boat is dry and new and no equipment.
Taking the measurements on the boom or the attachment for the main sheet is positioned. So what we're doing here is that we use the laser to find the vertical position of these bolts on the chain plates compared to the deck height over here. A laser is the perfect thing to use for this, and of course now we use it in a locked position because the boat is rocking in the water. It's a lot of measurements that you need to do.
Måttet här från mastcentrum.
Trying to find the laser.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's too sunny.
Too sunny.
If it can be too sunny.
Yeah. Only time you don't want the sun.
Like you saw, we're trying to use a laser today to find the different vertical heights now on the stays, on the chain plates for the stays. But it's so sunny right now, so it's really hard to see the laser. So, Håkan, do we
Yes.
have all the measurements now?
Soon.
So, what's left to
We
do?
shall have the measurement from the keel to the upper deck
Okay.
inside. And then we shall put it to the computer.
So now we're done with all the measurements outside, and now Håkan is putting all these numbers into Selden's system so they can calculate the size of the mast and the rigging to do all the calculations.
Selden will now make a mast drawing, and when that is done, Håkan will contact us to decide the details and equipment for the new mast before it goes into production. After a long day full of thinking and concentrating, it was nice to go for a walk in the evening sun. Our neighboring restaurant played live music, and there was a car exhibition on the parking lot right next to the marina. Maybe this was the last summer evening for the year, so people made sure to make the most of it. Hope you enjoyed the episode and that you want to join us on our boat projects. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want to follow our progress in real time, click into our Patreon page.